Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Here is the list of the top 5 murder mysteries of all time. Murders are always disturbing, but some are even worse than that. These killings were brutal, unimaginable in their depravity. The crimes horrified communities and stumped police, leaving questions that lingered for decades afterward, as years passed without an arrest or even a credible suspect. At number 1, we have Jack the Ripper, London's most notorious serial killer, prowled the East End over a century ago, preying on prostitutes and terrorizing the area. He made his mark as Jack the Ripper by killing and mutilating at least 5 women. Dread grew as the dead bodies began to pile up near each other within a 3-month period in 1888. The neighborhood was horrified to a degree bordering on panic. When news broke of a second female victim, the Morning Post reported at the time. The local newspaper called the killing barbarous and said the manner of the murder was too horrible for description. Local authorities at first wondered whether the suspect was a butcher or a doctor. The victim of the so-called Whitechapel murders, Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes and Mary Jane Kelly, all had their throats slashed and most of them had their stomachs slit and organs ripped off. The FBI, which analyzed the case in 1988 at the behest of a movie production company, said each victim was known to be a heavy drinker and a prostitute. Countless historians and criminologists have speculated on the killer's identity, but it appears Jack the Ripper took his secret to the grave: the Black Dahila's death. The sight stopped a mother and her child in their tracks. A naked woman was lying feet from the sidewalk. She was sliced cleanly in half at the waist, with not one drop of blood on her. The now infamous slaying of 22-year-old Elizabeth Short instantly captured headline in 1947, with newspaper later dubbing her the Black Dahlia, in part because she had dark hair and apparent preference for black clothing. A Massachusetts native who had come to California in pursuit of fame was bled dry before being dumped in an empty lot in a residential area of Los Angeles. It's unclear how the aspiring actor met such a grisly fate. The FBI, which helped local authorities investigate at the time, said it ran record checks on potential suspects and conducted interviews across the nation. However, none of the confessors appeared to be telling the truth, and the case has gone unsolved. At number 3, we have the Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer taunted police with clues. The Zodiac Killer was no ordinary murderer. Rather than avoiding the spotlight, he craved media attention and seemed to enjoy taunting police with the cryptic notes and clues as he left the trails of death behind him. The Zodiac Killer murdered 5 people, seemingly at random, in Northern California in 1968 and 1969. He claimed in letters to police that there were dozens more victims, although that was never confirmed. His deadly rampage began in December 1968. When 2 teenagers were shot dead in a parking lot. About 7 months later, another 2 people were shot in a parked car, although one survived. That's when local newspapers started getting letters claiming to be responsible for the slaying. The newspaper said the letters contained coded messages explaining the killer's motive as well as a key to help readers decipher his identity. "This is the Zodiac speaking," he wrote in an August letter. Authorities did not crack the code revealing his name, and the Zodiac Killer went on to stab 2 more people in late September. One of the victims survived and the other died. To this day, no suspects have been confirmed in the case. The San Francisco Police Department said the investigation is ongoing. At number 4, we have Tupac Shakur and Notorious Big were gunned down 6 months apart. The music world was rocked in the late 1990s, with rap superstars Tupac and the Notorious Big were gunned down about 6 months apart. The killing came at a moment marked by intense rivalry between their competing record labels. Both rappers were the top artists for their record companies. Many said the murders were a sign music feuds had gone too far. Shakur was killed first in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas on September 13, 1996. At the time, the 25-year-old superstar's death row record label had been feuding with the competitor Bad Boy. 6 months later, Bad Boy's Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious Biggie Small or Biggie, was killed in a similar fashion. The rapper was fatally shot in a drive-by as he was leaving a music industry party, Los Angeles. The two superstars had been friends when both were signed under Bad Boys, according to the FBI. Family and friends of the megastars are still in shock. At number 5, we have John Bennett Ramsey. John Bennett, a beauty pageant winner, had been discovered beaten and strangled, with duct tape placed on her mouth and throat, on the day after Christmas in 1996. This was already disturbing enough to draw national attention. But John Bennett's own family quickly fell under scrutiny, and many who had followed the story began to speculate on whether her parents were somehow involved. John Bennett Ramsey's young, smiling face started out from newspaper front pages and television screens all across the country in the months after the 6-year-old beauty queen was found dead in the basement of her family's Colorado home. The crimes turned quite an affluent neighborhood. 20 years later, Boulder police said the investigation is still open, although officials declined to comment on the case. I hope you liked my video. Please do like, subscribe, comment and share.